All right, welcome to another episode of To the Fullest with Jason Froberg. Make sure you subscribe, give us a like, ring the bell, follow us on social media. Today on the podcast, I'm very excited to have my good friend, guitarist Dylan Dyce. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Oh, man, it's so good to have you here. Here, wait. Put that thing by your mouth. Oh, yeah. Dude, it's been so long since I've seen you in the flesh, man. I miss you, buddy. It's just, we've been chatting it up ever since you walked in the house. It's like a good reunion, man. I'm so happy to have you here, bro.
Yeah, same here. It's been amazing, man. It's been way too long. I feel like it's been I want to say 2 years?
It's been a while, yeah. At least 2 years, right? With the pandemic and everything like that, man.
Yeah.
And I started mixing music a while back, and yeah, it's just... it's great to see you, man. You look fantastic. I love what you've done with your hair, and you have a billion more tattoos than the last time I saw you.
I know, right? Whenever I'm looking at the camera, I'm like, man, I don't have any room left.
You don't. It looks great. It looks awesome, man.
You as well, my brother. You as well, man. I think the short hair actually looks really good on you, dude.
I appreciate that.
It does.
I like it. The crazy scruffy beard and the long hair that I had forever. I was great, and I really enjoyed not getting haircuts.
Yeah, I know. That's the only good part of it, right?
Yeah. But no, I like the short hair thing and the shaved face thing, and doing the corporate stuff, man. It's good money, and the clients like it, so
exactly
it works out for me. I don't care. I just walk into the hairstylist. I have this great hairstylist, Michi. Love you, Michi. She just does what she does. I just go, make me look good.
Yeah,
I know.
She's doing that. She's on the right track. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. But so you're doing all kinds of cool stuff right now, right? You're working with some hip hop artists. You have a new band.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me about some of that stuff, man.
Yeah. So the first artist, I've kind of been just being a producer, and these last 2 years, man, I literally have worked so hard at just learning Pro Tools. I didn't even know how to use a computer. I was a straight up just just moron on this stuff. So these last 2 years I've been, working on that, learning Pro Tools. And then I had a really good engineer help me, this producer, Nick Bling. Give a little shout out to my boy right there. But yeah, he's, he wrote songs from This Moment and Five Finger Death Punch. And, the guy's killer, at producing and pretty much taught me everything I know, as far as from the groundwork, because, I didn't know much. I know playing, but as far as recording and producing and, learning how a song's built, I mean, that just, it's a whole art in itself.
Yeah.
Big time. And so, so I got some really good clients right now, and I've got one of the guys is signed to Warner Chappell. He's a hip hop artist, and, he's doing good and making his way up there. He actually just did a music video with Rick Ross.
Oh, cool.
Which is really crazy. I was like, wow, I remember that guy from high school, He was the biggest thing back whenever we were kids, So, but yeah, that. And then I'm also doing some rock stuff too. So I've got a band called the Mega Point, and that is with a guy from LA. There's a singer. His name's Sleeve T. He goes by Sleeve T Rocks on Twitch and everything. He's got actually pretty nice Twitch channel going on.
Oh, yeah? Sleeve T on Twitch?
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
So, yeah, the dude's really talented, man, and he's from L.A., and it's funny because I was watching a documentary. I was telling you earlier, I was watching a documentary about the Mega Point, and then the next day he, hit me up on Instagram. He's like, hey, man, I need a guitar player, and my band's called the Mega Point. I'm like, wow, that's kind of a sign right there. Maybe I should join this guy,
Right. Sleeve T, like the letter T?
Yeah. Sleeve T Rocks.
Oh, Sleeve T Rocks. That's where I was missing it at. Oh, cool. Yeah. I got his Twitch up right here. Check out Sleeve T Rocks' Twitch.
There might be one of the ones that we were doing, too. I think it was one of the last ones.
Yeah? Was it Halloween Madness?
I think it was a little bit before that. There's one of them at my studio, though, that we did, and we just did a bunch of request songs because he'll his clientele basically on Twitch, they all want us to learn punk songs and stuff like that, or I'll shred to some backing track. One of the guys will be like, hey man, can you shred to this? And it's some video game backing track, and I'm like, yeah, this is perfect for me. This is my wheelhouse right here.
That's awesome. He's got some good stuff going on. Silent Hill For the Room. I need to play that again. That game was killer.
Oh, yeah. He's a big Silent Hill fan. I know. And yeah, as far as games go, it's funny because I just got that the new Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Oh, dude, I've been wanting to check that out. Are you liking it?
Oh, it's awesome. It's so much better than the Avengers. Disaster that they made. They made an Avengers game and it's really bad. Like this is really like the total opposite. There's no just loot boxes and stuff like that, and it's fun, man. Like all the music's there too, which is awesome. And I'm like, man, cool. They must have had to get a lot of licensing for this. And then there's an option in the game where you can actually turn the music to music that's just like it, but not the same songs. And I'm like, dude, this is actually really good for producers. Like I need to get more into this, like be the guy that does all the songs that are like those songs.
Oh yeah, right. One of the ones I was interested in doing is simplistic like covers of like really big popular songs. But you can what's it called? You can license the cover for a lot cheaper than you can license the actual song version of it, right? So people who are making movies that have more of a tight budget, they can use your cover version instead of the original version, and you can make a little bit of money off of it, and they can not have to blow their budget on having some, some super badass song, but it's still the super badass song. So yeah, it was one of the things I was talking to my brother about doing that, just coming in the studio and picking out some big hits and just re-recording them in our own little version and trying to push it and market it.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. We should actually do that.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
That's a side project then.
Yeah, it's an easy money maker, and you're playing music, and it's not even a lot of like brain power, right? Because the song's already written.
Dude, easy peasy right there. It's funny that you mentioned in movies because the last thing, I don't know if you know Jason Ebbs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I met with him. This was, I want to say, about a month ago on a movie set.
Okay.
We both do kind of acting on the side, and so I'm like, I hear from the casting agent, she's like, yeah, you're gonna be with this guy Jason, he's got dreads, and I'm like thinking, is that Jason Ebbs? And I get there the next day and there he is, and I'm like, oh dude, this is awesome. So we're on this movie set, and it's called The Prisoner's Daughter.
Okay. And
so the whole day we're hanging out with the lead singer from the All American Rejects, Tyson Ritter.
Cool.
Yeah, so he's the main character in the movie, and then later that day, Kate Beckinsale gets on set because she was one of the main characters, but we had no clue like she was going to be in the scene. Yeah. So she was there. So we're in a scene with Kate Beckinsale and like Tyson Ritter and all this in this movie, and like actually got to be pretty big extras, and it was a killer day, man.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I got it up on IMDb right here. Prisoner's Daughter.
Yep.
That looks cool, man.
Yeah. So a lot of that was filmed in Vegas. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of other local yokels and that, Dude,
there's a lot of different actors out here in Vegas, man. Like, it's a pretty eclectic scene. I'm trying to get my my foot in the door with all that stuff too. I actually just met a movie producer. I was out shooting and recording this jazz concert for the what's it called? The jazz community people. Fuck, I can't think of the name. Whatever. There's like a local, the local jazz association. But no, so I was out shooting that and flying my drone over the stage and stuff. And she's just like, I need a drone pilot that's not an idiot, And she's been having a hard time finding one, I guess. So yeah, I'm trying to get my foot in with her and some of these other people out here that have been shooting a lot of different movies, and I've always wanted to do that, man.
Dude, that's
make movies and film, like produce and direct and everything like that. And maybe act. I could act,
Dude, I've got this, it's called Goldman's and Associates, but just go online and make a profile and everything, and that's like she'll like kind of send you the jobs based on your look and everything like that. You know what I mean? And that's so sometimes I'll get emails and I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely not going to be me, like a lawyer or something like that. It's like, no, I don't think I'm going to fit that part. I'll fit like a drug addict or a rocker. You know what I mean? or like a prisoner or something like that, but not like a lawyer or like some business guy. That's not going to be me.
See, I could do the business guy. I got the haircut for it now, man. Yeah, but that kind of stuff just seems like fun. It seems like a lot of fun to get involved with, man.
Dude, it's a blast. And that's the thing, you get paid a little bit too. It's fun, in that sense, but as far as music goes, man, that's one of the things I love about music is that the challenge is there, you know? I mean, it really is. It's hard to make money from music, and it's like, it feels like you're hustling, but once you get in that zone, of just every day, hey, I'm gonna make money, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, And that's the way it is. Like, as far as recording and being a session guy, there's a lot of times where I won't even get credit at all from the artist. And, and at first, it like really, really like messed with me. And I'd be like, man, like, why are they doing this? And then, you know, my friend explained, he's like, listen, it's not like actually something against you. It's really just, you know, the way it kind of works. You'll get those songwriting points, you know, and stuff like that. But not everybody's going to give you credit. They want it to be their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you start to understand, and you're like, hey, then you don't take offense from that anymore. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to take this personal, you know? And I think that's kind of a good step, right?
Yeah, I know that happens with like the pop punk kind of bands a lot. Like, they get in the studio and their drummer's okay and it's good for live touring, but when they're in the studio, it's like the producer has an idea and he goes, "Nah, I got this this drummer who's a beast and he's gonna knock this out for us and really make it pop."
Yep.
And then they don't, and they just say that it was the drummer from the band that does it.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like you don't want the fans to know that he's not playing drums on his own record.
Yep.
You know, and it's just it's just part of the business at this point. You know, it's trying to get the quality of the product out there as high as you can.
Yeah, or even, you know, programming too. I know a lot of guys that like will get mad because it's like, well, but we live in that time where technology is so good, man. I mean, it's just, you know, as far as recording goes, you don't even need a real amp anymore. I mean, it's just it's gotten to that point. It's incredible.
No, I run my whole thing in the box. I got this badass drum set behind me, man. We run it through Superior Drummer, and it's all MIDI time coded, and I can just like, you know, I'm not the best drummer in the world by any means, and but I can play the song. And then go back and quantize and kind of put it in the pocket and then just grab good chunks and loop it and go, there you go. I got there's the drum beat for the song. It works perfect. Sounds like a professional's playing it. And, you know, I can move on and like really have solid, tight drums. And it's all big, badass samples off Superior Drummer that sound great.
I know.
And it's just like it's me just in my single room right here screwing around at a digital drum set. And it's amazing.
Yeah, dude, your setup is awesome. I love this, man. It's super comfy too.
Thank you.
All the guitars around. I'm like, oh man, you got all kind of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, I love all my guitars over here. They're nice, man.
I really like that plexiglass Les Paul. What is that?
That's that's a Gibson Les Paul, man. Or well, it's supposed to be.
Is that from Zito?
No, I don't think it is, man.
I used to think Zito had one of those back in the day.
Yeah. No, I found it at a pawn shop.
Oh,
it's pretty cool. You want to check it out?
Yeah, that is awesome.
This bad dude out. Everyone loves this thing, man. Here.
That is so cool, dude. Oh my god, it's heavy too. Wow, this thing is super heavy. This is gnarly.
Yeah.
This is
So some of my friends that are like more experts on that kind of thing are like, that's probably not like 100% real Gibson, because I don't think they ever actually made a plexiglass one. It might just be like an ESP with a Gibson neck on it or something. But it's my favorite guitar. I mean, the thing sounds great.
Wow.
And yeah, it's got good tone, and yeah, I mean, that's the one I write with.
Dude, I love how heavy this thing is. That's incredible, though. That is awesome. I'd love to play that.
Yeah, man. I love it. It's everybody's favorite guitar.
I was just sitting here like eyeing that thing. I'm like, wow, man, that is super cool.
Yeah, you know, I got offered some money for it recently, and I really had to take time to consider it because it's like it was a good offer, and but it's like every single person that walks in the studio immediately goes, "What the hell's that thing?" And I was like, I kind of have to keep it in the studio, man.
Yeah, dude, don't get rid of it unless somebody's like, "Hey, I'll buy that thing for 11 grand or something."
Yeah, exactly.
Some crazy lunatic.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty serious offer. I was like, I could get a Telecaster for that. I've always wanted a Telecaster, but I'm like, yeah, you know, it's not a rare, weird looking, unique piece like that. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can get a Tele any day. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I got a job for. So yeah, I ended up deciding to keep the sucker. It'll be here forever, man. And it looks like it has a DC port on it.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like lights inside of it or something like that. I can't get them to turn. I haven't tried very hard. But you know, I plugged in a power supply to it, and it doesn't turn any lights on. But it seems like Something's dangling off the bottom with the DC port. I don't know what the hell it's for. But if it lights up, that'd be pretty tight.
That is awesome. What if it does? Yeah, you never know. It could do a lot more. This could be like a Rick and Morty episode. That thing could be a time traveling device, or interdimensional.
You just have to hit the right notes on it, and it opens up the portal, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That show's a trip, man. You watched that, right?
Oh, I love Rick and Morty. And I have Mr. Poopy Butthole tattooed on my leg, bro.
No way.
Yeah. Dude. No, that's one of my favorite shows, man. I absolutely love Rick and Morty. I just finished the 5th season on Halloween.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
that last episode. Good. Yeah, Evil Morty strikes back, right? I'm like, what the hell? And then the portal gun he changes the portal gun, right? So they don't, because Rick wants to quit or whatever. Yeah, like, dude, that is gonna be nuts. Like, I want to see where they go with that whole storyline.
Dude, it's beautiful. The writers on that, like, I love how they really take their job seriously and the lore. And they go back and they watch all the episodes over and over again and make sure they're like sticking to their guns and not, getting things mixed up or just writing something for the hell of it. And because it's like super nerds are watching that show, and everybody tears it apart as nerds are to do.
I know.
And they really take it seriously, and that's one of my favorite things about it is they bring it, man.
Oh yeah.
And it's hard for them because they say they're never gonna. They don't like to do repeat episodes. They don't like to They like to keep it fresh every time, and it's like 5 seasons of keeping it fresh. It's like, I know season 5 was a little rough too, because there was some really good episodes, and there's a few episodes that I was like, what the hell's going on here, man? But man, they just got their hands full with that thing.
I know that episode with Rick, whenever he goes to see his 30-year-old self, and they kind of get rid of Morty. That was my least favorite one. I wasn't too into that one. And the first one too, with the Aquaman kind of guy or whatever.
Oh,
that was okay. But my favorite one was the Captain Planet.
That was mine too.
Right? That was so good when Morty falls in love with her, and I was like, this is awesome. They need to go extend this kind of storyline. This is really cool.
That's it right there. That was my favorite Planetina, right?
Yeah.
So well done.
Total Captain Planet. Because we remember that as kids. Captain Planet was just awesome, right? Like back then they had this guy, the guy from Star Trek, that everybody knew as the visor guy. I remember that as kids. Everybody wanted to put one of those visors on. You would take anything. You would take like your little sister's hairnet and put that on your face as a visor to be that guy.
Friggin' Jordy from Star Trek, man. Yeah, let's what is it? Lamar Burton?
Yeah.
He's the Reading Rainbow guy.
Yeah. I know. And Captain Planet though, right? He was on Captain Planet as well.
Yeah. Freaking freaking Planetina though. What a great episode that shit was. I loved it so much. And the heartbreak at the end of all of it was just brutal. Like they don't let up, man, on that show. They really crush the characters and bring all this emotional play into the episode, man.
Oh, dude, it's so funny. Whenever I first heard about that show, I remember this was a couple years back, and I was in a band, and they were calling me Pickle.
Oh,
and it was one of the singer's girlfriend. She'd be like, Pickle, and I was like, where do you get, And I was like, okay, Dill Pickle, I get that, And then she's like, you got to see this show, Rick and Morty, and she's like, watch this episode called Pickle Rick, and I was like, whatever, And then a couple of years later after that, a friend was like, hey man, you got to watch this episode Pickle Rick, and I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll watch it, And that's whenever I was hooked after that. I'm like, oh my god, this is just epic. And the dog one where they're in the suits and they have the Doberman. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
And then that was watching that episode, I think it was life changing. I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Whenever just what's the stepdad's name, or the
Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry, where he's just trying to get him to use the bathroom. He's like, no, Jerry. And then the dog gets the outfit, and then he's like trying to put his head in it. It's like, no, Jerry.
Get a job, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's so funny, man. I believe that was that ended up being like a spin-off, or like they had a comic book based on Dog Planet or something. It was kind of like they almost took it in another direction and had a second series with the Dog Planet stuff.
Oh my god.
But yeah, they don't know what to do with all their ideas, man. They're fucking wild people.
I know, right? Yeah. That's crazy, man. That's nuts. It's so funny. I was actually thinking of a time with Dirty Paradise too, and this is long before Rick and Morty. But it's just funny. Like we were at this place called Frank's Tiki Room.
I love Frank's.
You've been there, right? Before?
Yeah.
And speaking of cartoons, and this is like a story of Dallas, because Dallas is this crazy maniac, right?
Yes, he is.
And so anyway, we're at this place, and there's this girl that Dallas is kind of seeing, and then, you know, he's kind of like working her over a little bit, and she's like kind of working over these other guys or whatever that she had been, you know, she had kind of been, I guess, at casinos before and was like kind of working them over, you know, and so they see her there with Dallas. They must have been like following this girl, and so they're all like jealous of Dallas because this girl's just all over him. And then it's me, Russ, you know, and a couple other girls. We're kind of all, you know, chilling there, gambling. Next thing I know, I look over and I hear like this big commotion. I see just a pile of dudes, like a cartoon. It was like one of those old school, just Looney Tunes cartoons on Dallas, just trying to beat him up. But like it's so many guys on top of guys that it was just like, who's hitting who, like what is going on, right? And so we go over there to help break it up. And I see Russ over there trying to pull people over. I'm trying to pull guys off, and then the security guard comes up and he's hitting us with a blackjack, right? One of those grandma weapons. And I just can't stop laughing because it doesn't hurt, but it's just like this guy looks like he's jacking off in my face, just hitting me as hard as he can with his stupid little, you know, leather blackjack that you see in like video games. You know, you never even see that in real life. And this guy's like, so anyway, we get kicked out of this bar, and like, you know, I remember the last thing, like, just Dallas is just cursing at this guy or whatever, and so I throw a hammer at the freaking bar, right? And luckily I missed, you know, and just hit the wall or whatever, because I wouldn't probably be here today. I'd probably be in you know, prison for manslaughter.
Yeah, throwing hammers.
It was insane, man. I remember that night.
You guys were a rowdy bunch.
Yeah, dude.
It was you guys were always getting into something, man. It was kind of like a point you would make to start shit whenever you're playing shows and get rowdy. And there's countless times
so many
over at the bar, or anytime you guys were playing, it was like it would turn into a total chaos.
And the funny thing is I feel like that was some of the normal times too. Like there's a time in Fremont where we're literally like finishing up a set, and next thing I see this guy that looks really pissed, right? He's just pissed, and you know, we're finished with the set, and I'm going to pack up my gear, and next thing I know, I see this guy he jumps on stage and punches Dallas and just starts sucker punching him, and we're like, what the hell? And it was apparently because some girl that he was dating, she had said, you know, oh, he was, you know, doing whatever, you know, kind of thing to get the guy all riled up to go like fight him, and it worked, and the guy got all drunk and like was like assassin, and no, Dallas, he's still with that same girl that like at the time, like while this guy is coming, he had already fixed it with the girl, but she had already done, you know, it was too late for her. She had already set the plan in motion. And he's still like, little does that guy know, like being a, you know, Mr. Captain Save-A-Ho, it's like, well, nope. He's back with her.
Yeah, that was always Dallas's MO, man. And the dude is just a monster, man. Yeah. Like, he's a skinny kind of dude, man. He's not a big guy, but he's a fucking monster. He's always fighting and like taking it on the jaw, man. Yeah. Like, he can hold his own like anybody can. He
really can, man.
He likes it. He likes to get in fights.
I think he does. It's funny. I think he gets it from his old man, dude. That guy's unbelievable fighter. Like Al.
I love Al.
God, that guy's probably like the best fighter I ever met. I mean, he is just like, he's incredible. Like, he was a bare knuckle boxer whenever he was a kid.
I didn't know that about Al, man. He's the sweetest dude in the world too. You would not expect that from Al.
Yeah, you wouldn't not at all. Like, and he's taught me so much. Like, I've learned more about fighting from Al, I think, than anybody in Vegas. Like, he'd be like, yeah, this is how you do it, you know. And he kind of has a Mr. Hanky register.
Yeah, he does.
Hey guys, this is how you guys do it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, Al, you are a pimp, bro.
Yeah, those boys, man. I miss the Dirty Paradise days. You guys were about to be something, man. I was really that's how it goes though. That's how it always goes. Dude. It's really hard to keep a band together long enough for it to pop.
It's true, and I really think some of the best groups too, that like kind of happens. Like, a lot of the groups I like, the same kind of story. They kind of fell apart before it was too soon, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, man, it's like it's kind of meant to be. And you know what? We never like had like the last time we got back together and kind of had some reunion shows. We never had like a bad falling out or anything like that. It just kind of was like, hey, you know, I got offered a tour. You know, the other guys were doing stuff. Dallas was doing tours, so it's like, hey, we're, you know, we'll pick this up another time. So who knows? We might be able to get together in the future, do some shows. I mean, it's not like a crazy big, but as far as like being, how we were and like really being serious about it, in that sense, the only thing we didn't get serious about was like, making records, stuff like that real bands need to do. We were too busy wanting to be like the best live band. And it's just like, dude, you guys, we got to have our shit together. You can't just have premature ejaculation where you come in with no CDs, no shirts. You're just like, yeah, guys, we're a band. We're going to take over the world.
Yeah.
With no merch.
You were a fantastic live band. That's for sure, man. You were crushing it out on Fremont Street. And they were, dude, you guys are making good money, I hear, too, out there. Like, it was fucking awesome for you. Like, that was just such a huge thing going on, man. Not many people get that opportunity out there.
I know.
That was awesome.
Yeah, making money in Fremont is hard, especially getting in that slot. I know, like, there was bands pissed whenever we took their slot, that had planned to get that summer thing, and we had got it, and they were like, fuck them, like, but I know there's a lot of politics down there, but yeah, it is hard to get down there. And then some people will be like, oh, there'll be certain nights where it'll be like kind of poppier bands doing stuff. They'll be like, well, how did they get there? It's like, well, you know what, this band worked there. They've been working on the smaller stage. You got to build yourself up like that. It's kind of like that's your audition, and they go by the alcohol sales, Yeah. So it's like, hey, this is what people like. This is what people want to drink to, whatever it is. And there's so many good cover bands out here. That's another thing. Like, as far as cover band material goes, there's so many. So with us, we were actually allowed to do originals, like some originals, which is crazy. Most bands don't down there,
Yeah.
And that was, I think that was one of the things I was really proud of. I was like, yeah, at least we get to, kind of do our original music too down here. But,
your originals are great, man.
I love
such a killer band.
I love that
such a killer band.
It's funny. My girlfriend now, she listens to that stuff too every once in a while.
Oh, really?
Hey, put it, and we made a new song, but that's the thing. Like, that's all we did. We did a new record. We never did a whole album. We never did any music videos like I wanted and stuff like that. And without Dallas pulling some wacky idea, what I mean? Just like we'd be real serious. I know we'd be real serious about that, and then it's like he'll pull out some wacky idea. That's just how he is. But I think that's how great singers are and great frontmen. Because he is a great frontman. Like, he really is one of the best I've met. That's a guy that can pull a crowd, and get them. It's crazy. We were in Bakersfield. We were both in different cover bands. I was in a Korn tribute, and he was in a System of a Down tribute band.
Oh, yeah,
with Chris and everything. And it was funny because like he pulled this crowd, man, like just got them so amped up. And I was just watching from the crowd. I'm just like, man, he really is a great frontman. He knows how to just pull the crowd into his world right there, man, into Dallas Williams' world.
Some people just naturally have that ability, man, and he's definitely one of those people. I always love working with him. He's such a good frontman, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now you're doing the Omega Point.
Yeah.
And like, how's that going, man? You guys have an album that you're putting together, or what's going on with it?
Yeah, with this, it's already got a couple songs that were kind of done, before me, because the guitar player before me is this guy Max from Fallen in Reverse. And then the drummer is actually playing with My Chemical Romance. So
cool.
Like, that's why we don't have a drummer right now. So hey, if there's any local drummers that are listening right now that want to come audition,
That's awesome.
and have some fun with us, and yeah, man, like that's all we're looking for right now. But as far as recording an album, we're doing originals too, and I'm writing with the singer Steve, and then we got a bass player, Tony Vega, he's amazing guitar.
Tony's awesome.
Yeah, you know him too,
yeah.
dude. He's an incredible guitarist as well. He's just a great dude, So, it's funny. I just met him. I was like, man, you've been living here for like 10 years, and I've never met you. Like, you're cool as hell. Like, what the hell,
Yeah, it's a big city, man, and it's just there's so many killer musicians in this town.
Yeah,
it's just wild. Like the talent pool. That we have to draw from.
Insane.
So,
right?
yeah, I'm sure you're going to find an awesome drummer, because there's just amazing drummers out here, man.
Yeah.
But that's like one of the most crucial parts of a band, If your drummer sucks, your band sucks.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, man. Like, I can't dig it. If the drummer's like losing the beat or just like really basic, I just completely check out when I'm watching a band,
Me too, yeah. It's so funny. There's been time, I know, it's just like you can't get into it, especially if somebody's like, soft hitting, and that's the worst.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be a soft hitter drummer, just literally get triggers and do the world a favor. You'll be a lot happier. Your band will be a lot happier. But at the same time, there's some venues that can't even handle that. You know what I mean? At the same time, it's kind of like that's a technical thing that could be, But man, like. It's nuts, man. The talent pool in this town, it's freaking crazy. Like, I've seen some unbelievable musicians, especially just going to jam nights for like the Blue Man Group stuff.
Oh yeah.
I remember whenever I first came back, because I had taken like about a year off in California to kind of like get sober and everything. And, I quit drinking, and
really?
I haven't drank for 7 years almost. It's
Dude,
7
congratulations,
years.
man.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I've smoked pot and done heroin and crack and everything else, but you know what I mean?
But not drinking.
Yeah, just
I just celebrated 10 years, man, off the booze, bro. So I'm right
dude,
there. I'm there
congrats.
with you, man.
There's times we both don't remember the night, but we know we had fun.
Oh yeah, bro. That's for sure, man.
I remember just seeing you at Vamped, and you'd be just, dude, like straight up, like they would keep you loaded up there.
That was one of the reasons I did that for a living, man. In my early 20s, I was like, this is the best job in the world. I can just get shit-faced all night long and mix bands, and it's like, it's okay. It's like a dream job for a 20-year-old, man.
I know.
Yeah, I used to walk into different bars, like the Canyon Club especially, man. And I would walk in there, and they would just have booze waiting for me. Like the second I walked in, they're like, "Oh, it's Jason." They're like, "Here's a Bloody Mary," or like a vodka Red Bull. They're like, they know I'm hungover because I was drinking there all night the night before. And then
so
it's like, "Here's a cure, bud." Like, let's get this party started. Yeah,
That's so
wouldn't
badass.
even ask for it. Yeah, man. Oh, it's wild. That's why I had to stop, though. Like it was hard to exist in that world after a while. You're just getting fucked up every night, and everything blurs together. Your memory starts to go, and you just don't even know what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, though. My life's been so much better since, man. What triggered you to sober up, man?
Really, it was just, my life was a disaster at that time, I had broken up with my ex at the time. We were living together, and so I was like, hey, I got to get back home with the parents and kind of regroup,
Yeah.
And so whenever I went back, I was like, you know what, I want to do this the right way. I want to actually get sober and, and get on my feet, you know what I mean, and do it all myself, and not have some girl like helping support me like I was pretty much my whole life before that. Typical rocker, like, hey man, like, and it's funny because I would always watch videos on like all my idols that would say, yeah, like back in those days girls helped me, and I'm like, back in those days I'm living proof you can still do it. But
yeah,
at the same time, it's kind of like I didn't want to be that guy that's getting help from his girl, like, you know what I mean. I wanted to do it myself. So after I got sober, I was only there for about a year in California, and then moved right back. And I was literally like, you know what? I woke up one day, I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. I'm ready. I'm going to sleep in my car every day in Vegas until I get where I need to be. And literally I stayed at a friend's house for maybe 2 nights.
Yeah.
And I went on Tinder and then got a bunch of girls that I could basically no. I did that too, but before I met my woman, in case she watches this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, like I did that, and then I had my car, and I'm sleeping out of it and doing that kind of thing. And then I just ended up meeting a really badass chick. That was amazing. But at that time I got a job, I got all that, situated, and it's like, I built everything by myself, kind of like, and had the support of an amazing woman, but not somebody that's just, giving me a freebie kind of thing and to party and be a rock star, like before, you know what I mean? And it's just, I started teaching lessons at Sam Ash, did that. And then, now I've kind of, I stopped with the whole lesson business just because I got sick of, you really get sick of that after a while. And then the fact is, at Sam Ash, I was literally the teacher that all the other teachers would send the hard stuff too. So like I'd have kids come in there, they're like, yeah, I want to learn Malmsteen. So I learned that. It'd take me, you know, whole freaking week. It helped me get better.
Of
you know,
course.
But like, and then they started bringing, and that's whenever I first heard of Polyphia, because I was like, you know, this kid brought in a goat and he was like, I want to learn this. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, is this even possible? And I was thinking that while I was listening, I was like, is this actually possible to play? And I remember I brought it home and I was working on it and I finally learned it. I was like, wow, this is insane. Like, you know, and I started being a fan of this band because the guy just is writing guitar parts that are so unique and different.
It's called Polyphia?
Yeah, they're like an underground type of. They're actually getting bigger now, but they're kind of like an underground like instrumental band, and it's almost like with a little bit of hip hop influence, but with crazy like technical guitar that's like clean and not distorted. It's unbelievable. Like this guy's doing all this shit clean, you know, no distortion, just unreal. And like, dude, even live, they're incredible. But there's also another band called Periphery too, and that kind of element, but they're more like Ginny, like what is it? Not Mastodon, but Meshuggah kind of thing. You know what I mean? They're the ones that I think created Gent, that whole genre, right? Wouldn't you say like is Meshuggah back in the day?
Oh yeah, Meshuggah's awesome.
And then these guys kind of like added like more clean style vocals on that kind of instrumental stuff, like Meshuggah type of. But as far as Polyphia goes, yeah, man, I can't even think of a band that's like them. I mean, they're so unique, you know.
I'm gonna definitely check them out, man. That's awesome. I wish I could play music on the podcast, but you know, I'll add the link in the description. You can go check out their website. I got it pulled up right here, polyphia.com and periphery.net.
Yeah,
down on the thing. That's awesome. Yeah, I love new music, man, especially the super talented stuff like that where people are just blowing your mind.
Oh, yeah. This guy will... His name's Tim Hintz, and that's the guitar player and the guy that like writes all the stuff in that band. And, man, it's just... That guy's got some insane talent. And I saw how he was... It's crazy how he writes his riffs. He basically uses a keyboard and he'll write the chords out like that, you know, just with MIDI, and then he learns it. It puts that MIDI into like Guitar Pro and learns it like that. And I was like, that's genius, dude. I'm going to start doing that, you know? So that's what I've kind of been experimenting with and like trying to write riffs on piano.
That's what Anthony does.
Really?
Remember Anthony Gomez?
Yeah.
He's a super talented guitar player. He does that exact thing. He writes it all on the computer and then has to learn how to play it back. And the computer's just blasting him with these crazy notes. And it's pretty impressive.
Dude, that's incredible. That's what I'm like getting into right now as far as writing goes, you know, because that's the thing, like sitting there at the metronome practicing sweep picking and stuff like that. I've been doing that, you know, years. Like that's like, but always been my go-to for discipline, because I've got a lot of discipline whenever it comes to practice, man. I'll sit there and I'll hit the metronome for hours, to the point where, you know, my girl, she'll be in the other room. She'll be like, damn, you know, you're like, you're still hitting that pattern. But she knows, you know, she's like, you know, she's always proud of me in that sense. Like, I've always had that discipline. Even whenever I was a fuck up and like drunk as fuck, I could still like, I would, you know, still somewhere put that, like that time of day to put in this work, you know, and not half-ass it, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I feel like, especially guitar, like if I don't practice and do my routine one day, I feel like I start to get rusty. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, bro. Like I humiliated myself in front of my family up north. After COVID started clearing up, I went up to go see him, and I hadn't been playing this whole time. Still haven't been playing really, man. And they were like, yeah, man, your uncle's playing a show. He's just doing like a blues jam, and they invite me up to play. And I was like, yeah, you know, whatever, give me the key. And And it'd been like a year and a half since I touched a bass, and it was gone. I was just like, I was like, yeah, I can play fucking anything, you know, like give me a bass, I'll be fine. And I got up there and I just lost all of it. And I was so sloppy and so all over the place and just like, how does this go again? What the I was just embarrassed as hell.
Dude.
In front of my whole family, too. They're like, you sure you know how to play bass? I was like, obviously not anymore. Not anymore, man.
Just turn it down in the mix.
Yeah. And the lead singer's like, bass solo. And I was like, no. Oh. Yeah. And it's humiliating. So, yeah, dude, it's for real, man. If you don't use it, it just disappears, man. It's just,
it does.
I have to start practicing all over again, man.
Yeah, and you know what's the funny thing is, I feel like like with drums, it doesn't though. Like I know, right?
Yeah.
With drums, it doesn't, because I've known drummers that haven't played in a long time, and I've seen them just like pick it up in 5 seconds. I'm like, dude, like you can't do that with guitar. You can't.
No.
It's not gonna happen. You're gonna be playing. You're gonna be starting from. You're gonna be trying. Like your brain will think you can do it, and then you like your fingers are gonna say no. It's like no, it's not.
That's exactly it, right? Your fingers are just goo.
Yeah.
And like chord progressions are lost. So you're like, wait, no, I know how to do this, and it's like, yeah, but it's like taking too long for my brain to associate the chord progression in time with the song that's going on, and then my fingers to translate it, which they're having a hell of a time moving. And I was just like, this is a mess. Yeah. It's never happened. Like I've been playing my whole life. I've never dropped the bass for that long. And it was humiliating. I just like, I got to pick it up and start doing my scales again.
Oh my God. And hey, learn one of those Polyphia songs. You'll be in tip top shape after that.
Oh, I bet, man.
I think the bass player's name is Clay Gobbler or Goober, something like that. Some weird last name, but the guy is phenomenal too, man. He does a lot of the finger technique and stuff like that. Really, really killer. He like plays like a 6-string or 8-string, whatever, some monstrous looking bass.
Yeah.
What do you play? I
do 6-string. I got the 6-string. I got the 6-string fretless right there. My little fire plant.
Oh yeah.
And then I like the 6-string basses, man. I do all that Primus stuff, so it's like I have to have it to do a lot of those songs.
Yeah, you kill that, man.
Oh, thank you very much.
I remember that Primus tribute band you had was like dude, that was so phenomenal, and everybody that would like see that, they're like, dude, the bass is so on point. Like you like literally like had those songs perfect.
Dude, I've been practicing that since I was a teenager, man. The second I discovered Les Claypool, like my drummer in one of my old bands, he was just a huge Primus fan, and he's like, you never heard of this before? And then immediately I just lost interest in all things. I got all the Primus albums, and I just started learning all the songs I could, man. And like that's the only reason I even got a 6-string bass. I was just like, oh, I can't play these songs without a 6-string bass. So my only priority in life was to get one. Yeah. And it was it changed my whole world view on what music was, and I'm still obsessed with it. I love his new band.
Really? What's it called?
It's the Claypool Lennon Delirium.
Oh yeah,
with
John Lennon.
Dude.
It's funny because I love the John Lennon's son, dude. He's super talented. The one with the that kind of looks like John Lennon with the beard and everything, right? Yeah, that's the guy. Dude, I saw him on some late night show. I think it was actually with Les Claypool.
I'm sure it was.
And it was an incredible song too. Like it was a really good song. And I want to say, what's the name of the band? It's
the Claypool Lennon Delirium. It's the actual name of the band, yeah.
Maybe that was, or maybe it was his side project before that or something. Was that new?
Know. But yeah, it's just blows my mind what they're doing, man. Like the music is so good.
That's crazy.
I love everything that Les does, though. But I'm always talking about Les. He's the guy for me, man. There's just everybody's got that person that clicks with them, and that's for me. That's the one, man. Like, and the Beatles is a huge influence over me as well. So for them to merge kind of Primus and the Beatles together like they do, it's just perfect. It's right up my alley.
It's crazy. You got to wonder if that guy like got some songs from his dad too, because dude, some of the stuff that I was hearing from him was incredible, and I was like, I wonder if this is like throwaways from John Lennon or something. You know what I mean? Yoko Ono comes with some secret box. She's like, here is all of John Lennon's old throwaway songs. Here you go.
Yeah, right. The Beatles tied into something like classic and pure about music. I think they were really there was just something about what they were doing that was so simplistic and just right on the point, and I think if you can just tap into that a little bit, man, it's just that's where all the hits are, man. That's where all the best parts of music exist, man. Is exactly what the Beatles were doing.
Exactly.
They did some creative stuff and some out there stuff, but like a lot of it, especially with like Paul McCartney, man, he just knows where that groove's supposed to sit.
Exactly. Yeah. For he's a left-handed bassist, right?
Oh, yeah.
Insane. Like, dude, he's the crazy thing to sing and play bass. People don't understand how hard that is. It's a lot harder than singing and playing guitar, right? Like,
yeah.
I'd figure like,
well, I mean, it's, you gotta be able to do both things without thinking about them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, like you just have to, for me, it just becomes muscle memory. Like my hands are moving on their own, and I am just making sure I'm not missing lyrics, but it's like all the tonality of my voice and where I'm going, the musical quality of the voice and everything, that's all on autopilot. Yeah. And it just, if I can't put both of those things, without thinking about them, then it just turns into slop. Yeah. The second you try to come back in and go, am I doing it right? It's like, you start stumbling around. It's like you just got to find that Zen place, man, and just let it flow and not worry about it. Or you just get inside your own head, and then the second you think about what you're doing, you're not doing it anymore.
Exactly. Yep. That's, dude, the same with, it's with playing guitar and singing too. You know what I mean? Like, but as far as for me, I'm fucking awful at playing guitar and singing. I'm just like, that's why I could never be a singer, man. It's like playing guitar and singing just doesn't click for me. I could play anything in guitar, pretty much with, as long as I put my mind to it and practice. But as far as singing and playing, oh my God, like I'm just a backup guy. That's it. Backup singing and backup vocals. It takes me a lot of practice to nail them. Like you know what I mean? And it's so bizarre. I could play something super easy in guitar the minute I introduce vocals and into it. It's just like up there, you know what I mean? Unreal, right?
Well, yeah, because you can't really do two things at once with your brain. You can bounce back and forth between the two things, and unless you're not really focusing on either one of them, then you're trying to do something. Yeah. And that's kind of that's kind of the hard part about it. For me, it'll happen because of girls, man. I learned to play some acoustic guitar and sing to like woo chicks. Yeah. There's a girl I liked, and she had some songs she was really into, and I just learned how to play them and sing them to her so I could get with her when I was a teenager. Yeah. And it was like, if it wasn't for that motivation, I never would have put the time in, It's like sex drives all things, man.
And it's so funny you say that, because like I remember whenever I was like, I had probably been playing guitar maybe 4 years. I was about 17, and I remember going like on a date with a girl at the time, and it was actually around Halloween, and 17 years old, and it was like our first day or whatever, and there's this other guy that we had met, this is in Hollywood, and he was like, chilling with us. I could tell he was like trying to swoop on her, and I was like, whatever, go ahead. And he had acoustic guitar, and I remember he was playing and singing. Yeah. And at the time, and then I played some technical thing or whatever to try to impress her. And I remember at the end of the day, she went with that guy, and he played like Wonderwall or something, you know what I mean? Something just super cheesy and easy, and you're just like, oh God, cringe, like while he's singing. But then you're like, hey, it won, it works, and there's a formula for that. That's the reason why, because girls aren't looking at a guitar and being like, oh my God, he can play something like super technical, like that's gonna turn me on. It's like, no. They're not gonna think that. They're gonna be thinking other things, and then
the majority of people aren't interested in that kind of stuff, right?
I know. And it's funny, you go to like one of these like Animals as Leaders. Have you ever heard of that band?
I love them.
The great band. You go to one of their shows, you're not going to see those type of groupies. That's not going to be there. It's like the opposite. It's like guy groupies, that are just like, oh my God, Tossin, I want to see you play that Aeolian scale like that.
Yeah, like 90% of the audience is just hardcore musicians who are just there to see some amazing stuff done, right?
Dude, and everybody looks pissed too. Like, it's funny because that crowd is like musicians that are like all the guys that play the technical stuff, so they're all just like cross-armed, you know what I mean? But they all have good intentions. They all love the band that they're going to see. Obviously, they paid money, but it's just like you'd go there and they all look like they're like forced by like a mug shot. You know what I mean? It's like their mug shot, and they're just like forced to be there. But it's like, hey, that's how technical musicians kind of can act. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Whereas like I feel like I try to be like more like the Dimebag type of personality and just like laugh at it, and just be, like have fun. And whenever you're like that, sometimes with the serious guys, they sometimes don't like you. Like I noticed, like some of the serious guys would be like, give me these looks, like, dude, why are you so happy? And like you gotta be like depressed and cool to be a rocker. It's like, no, I think you can do both, man. You know what I mean? Dimebag proved that. There's been countless musicians that have, like you don't have to be like the coolest guy in the room. You can just, have fun with it, man.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the human condition. It's like a lot of people are like that. It's so much easier to say everything sucks and not put yourself out there emotionally and like shit all over everything. And it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction people kind of have to the reality around them, man.
I know.
It blows my mind, and I'm guilty of it too. I used to be that kind of guy, and like it's encouraged almost in circles, man, to be like. Yeah, doesn't everything suck so much? And everybody piles on how everybody's, everything's just terrible and shit all over the world. And and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of a bummer, man, to be around. And I don't like to play that game anymore.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to be the positive guy now too,
dude.
And it pisses people off.
It does.
Don't like shit on stuff with me, man. What the hell?
I know. Or if you change the subject, you'd be like, you know what? I just don't want to talk. Let's talk about something else. And like somebody that's really negative, they'll be like, oh no, like let's keep all, or get all bent out of shape. And it's just like, dude, there, like you said, there's so many positive aspects of life, and you know what I mean. Like, look what I think if we all kind of come together, you know what I mean, things would be different. I mean, like, especially right now with all, like what's going on with the world, like you said, like it really is, man. Like, I think of it as a happy place. I don't watch the news. I don't watch the media, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, hey, until they come, banging at my door and being like, you need a shot. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they don't do that, I'm okay. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's a lot of pain going on. There's a lot of people losing their jobs. There's all this stuff that's going on right now. And it's just, man, it's awful how, the media is kind of like not just ignoring it and just being like, hey, that doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? Look over here, guys. Oh, yeah, man.
No, it's a wild time in the existence right now, man. But there's always something wild going on. But it's definitely a lot worse than I can remember it being. Yeah. And it's now more than ever that people need to have that positive outlook on things and just have, like a level of faith in reality that shit gets bad and then shit gets better and it's gonna get better. It's already getting better.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary. But when you let it all go, you realize it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but I see so many people out there just absolutely terrified and wrapped up and hyper angry and just, and it's just ruining their version of reality.
I know,
and it's like this filter that we have on, man, where we can just walk around and we could see everything for the beautiful, loving place that we exist in, man. Like I always am reminding myself that this is heaven, man. Like it's just such a beautiful experience of life that we get to have as people, especially this day and age.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, there's just so many people with this filter over their eyes that just look at the world in black and white and everything's just shit and everything's racist and everything's terrible and and it's just like, it's not though, man.
It's not, dude. I feel like
see it that way.
Yeah, like to me, like whenever I go out, it's like I've seen more people come together, especially in Las Vegas, the area. You know what I mean? Like I've seen a lot more people doing better deeds and nice to like as far as like real life goes. But then you watch the media and it's like the complete opposite. That same kind of thing. Like I've seen a lot of heartwarming shit this last year.
Yeah.
It's freaking awful, like of what they're trying to program, and this whole great reset thing, and
well, that's it too. They're trying to program us all, man. It's like apartheid all over again, and they want us to be as divided as possible and at each other's throats, so we're not rising up against them.
Yeah,
going, hey man, what are you doing with all of our tax money?
Yeah,
this is like you're running the country like shit. This isn't acceptable, but it's like, no, it's your fault, Dylan.
Yeah.
It's like you have any control over any of it, right?
Dude.
But it's like it's easier for me to walk around and blame the people that are directly in front of me than to blame the people that are actually in charge of this shit. And if we all could just come together, man. But they want civil war.
Yeah.
It's like it's being encouraged to turn against everybody you love. People are being encouraged to turn against their own family members, and it's just wild, man.
It is.
It is wild to see. And it's like, man, it's like the 20s through the 40s again, man, like early communist Russia and everyone turning in their family members and sending everyone to the, what's it called? The
gulag.
Gulag. That's the word, yeah. Sending everyone to the gulags and, Nazi Germany, everybody's got to show their card, if you're, they got to put the Star of David on your shoulder. And, it's like all this stuff has to be public knowledge so they can treat everybody differently.
Yeah.
And that shit's wild, man.
I know. Bring back segregation.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we? You're like, what the, dude? And that's another thing is, getting a little thirsty, but like you were saying about, what I mean, about the racism and all that. It's like, I have literally had, it's been the complete opposite for me out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like everybody's been kind of like teaming together, you know what I mean? But, and even with the vaccine and all that, or the vax, I'll just say, I don't want to say too much of it, but
it's fine.
Whenever everybody's talking about that thing, that is literally they're trying to say that's racism. And it's like, no, that's you guys putting this segregation and not allowing people that are unvaxxed. And of course, that whole community, that's like, why should they trust Dr. Fauci? You know what I mean? The guy that's like,
wrong all the time.
Yeah, he's a bad guy in the Dallas Buyers Club. If you ever watched that movie, the guy literally is the bad guy of that movie. You know what I mean? Like what he did to AIDS patients, all this stuff. And then it's insane how that guy got in the position of power he is. You're like, how? Like this guy is like literally the worst doctor in the world. And then I remember I had a friend that was like, dude, look up who's the most powerful doctor in the world on Google. And I was like, oh God. And so I looked it up and it was Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you see that? You ever try that thing? You look it up on Google and it's like, what the fuck? No, this can't be true. What? And it literally came up as Bill Gates.
Google's a trip, man. There was that thing where, it shows up as Bill Gates, doesn't it? Look at that. That's ridiculous.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in, man.
It is, man. Yeah, and there's that other stuff going on where it's like you can type into Google, women can, and then it'll autofill. And it says all this, positive stuff and women can do anything, but then you type in men can and it's like all this crazy fucking LGBTQ thing, propaganda. It's like men can get pregnant.
Oh God.
All this, it's like, what the fuck is that autofill about, man? It just blows my mind. And it's just like forcing these agendas on people through Google searches, man. Or you type in Hillary's email and it's just like nothing shows up, right? Even though she's the one with the email, situation. But you type in Trump's email and it's like all the shit about how Trump is evil shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, damn, bro. They're just like so one-sided and pushing their objective point of view on society. And that's ridiculous that a company that has that much power, it's like literally the gatekeepers of information are filtering our information to satisfy their own objective and their own narrative. Yeah. And that's just not okay. That's not okay to do, man.
No, total CCP. Yeah. That's what China does, you know what I mean? Basically their social credit score and all that, and then having to use a VPN just to cruise the internet, that's where it's getting like now.
I run a VPN. I run the DuckDuckGo thing.
Yeah, me too.
Like all this stuff so that I can filter it out. Like one of the things, like I was searching for new web browsers and new search engines and stuff, and I just typed Trump in the search engine, and it's like if it pulls up his website and his Wikipedia, and like stuff about Trump, then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is like unbiased information. Yeah. But it's like you go to some of them and it's like, here's all these negative headlines about Trump and like all these websites that talk shit about Trump. And then it's like, it's just forcing all this like Trump is evil propaganda in your face. Yeah. As opposed to just bringing me to websites that give me information about Trump. And that shit's wild to me. Yeah. Like it's just clearly one-sided and opinionated bullshit.
Yep. And you see the search engine says brought to you by Snopes.
Yeah, right?
Presented by Pfizer. Did you see that? I think Joe Rogan had shared that, and it was like this like whole mashup of all the media channels literally being brought to you by Pfizer and Moderna and sponsored by all the Johnson & Johnson. It's like, what the hell? They're not even hiding it anymore.
No, it's ridiculous. And it's like the government gave them, $100 billion in research money, and their profit margin is just insane. and I think they made like $41 billion this year. Did they return any of that $100 billion that the government funded for them to actually get the vaccines out? No. Yeah. Do they pay any taxes on that stuff? No. Yep. You know, are they able to like distribute that stuff to impoverished nations? No. Yeah. You know, they're just like, they took all this government funding and then they used it to just make massive profits, and they don't give a shit about anybody. And then the government mandates it on top of it, right? They're just like, and you have to take this. Yeah. It's like, fuck, man, you know?
That's no break.
Yeah. That's so wild. Like, it's just, yeah, we're just living in an episode of Black Mirror, man. Dude, you know, it's like we're repeating all the mistakes of the past and all these problems and this bullshit that happened 100 years ago. It's all cycling back around, man. Yeah. And people don't study history or have any concept of it. And so they just, you know, they think it's some kind of new, beautiful idea. And it's like, no, man. Yeah. No, you're just repeating history over and over again and bringing about massive amounts of suffering.
Yeah, exactly. History shows that like tyrants have lost. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not going to happen, no matter what they try to guise it as. You know what I mean? It's like they're going to lose. They are. You know, and people are standing up, and it's like, you know, going by St. Rose Hospital by my house. Yeah, you know, I drove by the other day, and we saw this crazy protest in front of St. Rose. I mean, there must have been about 200 people.
Oh, really?
Not one single media van, right? Nothing. No. Media's silent. There's people literally in the middle of the streets hanging from the frickin' traffic lights with signs. You know what I mean? I mean, these people have just lost their whole income, their job, you know, and they're out there literally all day. And then I came back the next night, I want to say a couple nights after, and then I see them praying right in front of the sign, like doing like a little prayer. They were there the whole day, and they're still at night, and it was like even more people, right? And I'm like, wow, this is... It goes to show people are fighting back, but the media is not covering it all. That's you know, they don't want to show it.
Yeah, and even if they do want to show it, they'll color it in such a way that villainizes those people.
Exactly.
You know, they won't show it in a non-biased format. It's always pushing the narrative in a certain direction, man. You know, they want everybody to believe one thing, and they will do anything and they'll say anything to encourage people to think that way, as opposed to thinking for themselves or just going, here's information, develop your own opinion.
Exactly.
You know? And it's like, no, you're not allowed to develop your own opinion. Your opinion is dictated by Twitter and CNN. Yeah. And if you don't have that same opinion that we tell you you're supposed to have, you're a fucking racist piece of shit. And, you know, and you're the problem with the country. You know, how dare you have your own opinion or your own point of view about anything anymore?
I know, right? Yeah, like... It's gotten to that point. It's insane. And it's also like the dispensaries, right? The dispensaries are making billions of dollars out of here. And whenever you look, have you ever looked up where that money goes?
Where?
It's unbelievable. I looked it up, and it was like to these bizarre programs, like stuff that doesn't require billions of dollars. So, you know, like they're taking this money and like they're just saying, yeah, you know, well, the state of Nevada, we put it in these programs or whatever. It's like, what? You guys put that much billions of dollars are just going to some bullshit programs? Like, where's that money actually going from? You know, and they never talk about that. How is that not even getting us? If they made weed legal in the whole United States, I feel like that would get us out of a lot of this debt, you know?
Yeah.
And then they're going around asking for $3 trillion. It's like, okay, you know, you guys want to put us in like that, the debt for, you know, the rest of our freaking lives, you know? Oh, yeah. Instead of like, just legalizing weed, maybe, you know, you could get some of that money, you know, and I'm not a politician, I never would want to be, but at the same time, it's like, man, like, where is that weed money going? And nobody asks that either. You know, you notice that, like, everybody's just like, yeah, we've got all, like, think about it, these dispensaries are working, some of them are 24 hours, they've got lines almost all the time whenever you go there. Yeah. You know, they're making a killing. And I even had a couple of friends that invested in stock with some of these dispensaries, and they're making a killing.
My weed stocks did like shit.
Yeah, this was right at the beginning though. I had a friend that invested in that. I think a Congress, I want to say a senator or a congressman, like bought the dispensary. I think it was Acres. Yeah, you heard of that one?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
And he invested in that stock for that whatever company or whatever stock was the Acres was like using, and he ended up like doubling his profit and doing really good.
Nice, good for him.
As far as the crypto market goes, like right now, I know like the crypto market and stuff like that. I've been kind of getting into that.
Yeah, Shiba, man.
Yeah.
Shiba just took off for me. I made a little bit of money off of that, and Dogecoin seems to keep rising, man. Like anything that Elon Musk talks about, it's like if Elon Musk mentions it on Twitter, just buy as much money as you can put into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude, that's awesome. You made Shiba. You made some money on Shiba.
Yeah, and then
good.
I sold some of it. Like, cause it spiked super hard, and like I've been playing the game, and like I haven't been selling when it spikes. I was like, I'll hold out, and then it dips super hard because everyone sells with it spikes. So then it spiked, and then I sold, and then it kept spiking, and I was like, shit. And I took my profits, I just threw it back into it, and it kept going up and up and up, man. And I made some money off of it, which is nice. And I left, and now I have it sitting in there. I kept like a chunk that I made off of it, so like I haven't spent. Now I have $0. Like technically invested in it because I took my original investment back and just took all the profit, threw it back into it. Now it's climbing again.
Hell yeah.
Which is just great. And, but yeah, like he said, it's going to be $1. And if it becomes $1, I'll be a multimillionaire.
That's the same with my buddy, dude. If it becomes about, like, I have a friend that's got $1 million in it.
Yeah.
Like, because I guess he had his like parents passed away, and this guy ended up getting brain cancer, which is like he's terminal, which sucks right now. But the guy is such a cool guy, and he ended up investing all the money that he got from his parents into it, and now like he's already got $1 million in there, and if it goes up, he'll be a multimillionaire. But it was for his daughter, like he's gonna give it all to his daughter anyway because he's terminal.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. You're making a good thing happen, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, my daughter will be set for life, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's wild the cryptocurrency stuff, man, and Bitcoin's almost like $65,000, and I'm trying as hard as I can to get one Bitcoin.
I know, right? Yeah,
I almost bought one at $5,000, and I was just like, it's already at $5,000. Like, what a dumbass,
dude.
And I didn't do it, and now I just throw money at it every once in a while. I have a little extra money, I throw it at the, it's like when I'm in there messing around, I go, and put another 100 on Bitcoin, whatever it's at, and put another 100 on that. But I'm like, really, I'm messing with the smaller ones, trying to actually make money.
See, I'm on Filecoin right now. I've got a lot invested in Filecoin, and that's the thing I heard from like an inside source that was going to be like really like that was going to blow up. So I doubled my money, then it went back down like after the whole they basically told crypto was illegal in China or whatever, but that thing has already happened in 2017. Did you hear about that? Like they already said it was illegal in 2017. So a lot of people posted on Facebook and so they're like, oh, dump your crypto now. It's like, dude, this has already happened in 2017. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's, you know what I mean? It's the market fluctuates. You got to know, so it did nosedive, but then it came back up. And so now I'm like, it's kind of climbing. I'm waiting for that to kind of invest, because my friend said that, hey, that's the backup plan. If all cash fails, we'll have our crypto.
That's it. Oh, they want to get rid of the cash anyways, man.
Yeah.
One of the things I need to start investing my money into is like physical silver and gold.
Oh yeah.
Like I really want to start doing that. I haven't started it yet, but it's like that's one of those things. Like especially silver, like the increase in the margins on silver has been going up.
Oh yeah.
Like really well. Like it's doing really well. And I've been meaning to just buy some physical silver and physical gold and just throw it in my safe and forget about it,
Oh
like that's like, who knows what can happen with the world, right? Like after what we just experienced.
Yeah.
But it's like that'll always be valuable. Like the paper money might not be worth anything, but it's like I have gold bullion.
Exactly. That will always. Dude, do you find a good site that you can get gold from? Cause
there's a couple of them.
Really? It's funny. I knew a friend that was doing that for like, he was saving, like putting his life savings in it.
That's smart.
Well, the thing is, he didn't check the gold. Apparently, and he was getting it was fake. And he was like, he checked the first bar he got, but he didn't dig deep enough, and it was like, it was ended up being fake bars, and there was nothing you could do. And I was like, oh my god. So that's why I'm always like worried. Like I want to make sure it's like a super credible.
Yeah, and I haven't picked a site to really to purchase it on. But I mean, there's all kinds of different things you can do, and it's like here's just a random site, or I got it up on the screen. You can buy different coins and gold bullion and stuff like that, and you just stack it up and throw it in your safe, man, and not worry about it.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there's all kinds of random stuff you can do with it, you know, like these little gold bars are dope. But yeah, I haven't started yet. Eventually.
Yeah.
You know. But it's wild, man. Yeah, what is it? It says gold's at $1,794. Yeah, it's all going down right now. It looks like time to buy.
I know, yeah, because it went up like crazy. I think that's why it's probably going down now, right? Because it was like, I remember it was up like insane.
Yeah, during the pandemic, I was like, yeah, buy as much as you can. You don't know what the hell's going to happen to that. I remember whenever they weren't letting you get money out of the bank and no one was accepting cash.
Yeah.
That was fucking wild,
dude,
man.
The coin shortage.
Yeah, the coin shortage, right?
Whatever happened to that, huh?
That was ridiculous. Man, I thought that was it. I was like, oh, here it goes, man.
Yeah.
This is them cutting the cash off permanently. You know, they're just going to be like, no more cash. You can't use cash to spend any money. And it's all going to be digital, and it's all going to be, recorded. Every transaction you make will be recorded, and you won't be able to do shit.
I know,
without the government getting a cut of it.
Yeah, the coin shortage. And that's the funny thing. The whole time while they had these signs, you could literally just go in the street and find there's millions of coins anywhere on Las Vegas Boulevard. Go in the fountains, you find, a freaking dump truck full of coins. We got a coin shortage though, but like, like a minute next to that fountain is gonna be a place that's got a sign that says, "Hey, we got a coin shortage." It's so stupid, dude.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, that was really weird. I remember that was scary at the time. I went to my local grocery store, and I was like, all the items are off the shelves and stuff. And I was like, hey, man, is this the end of the world right now? Like, what's going on? And the guy's like, no, it's okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
It was scary, though. I went out and bought a ton of canned food and, stocked up on all the paper goods and everything. And it was just like, whatever happens, got like a pallet of water sitting in my garage. And it was, it was a wild time, man. And then there was just nothing on the shelves, man. And I remember the first time, it was like, it had been months since I saw meat at the supermarket.
Oh, yeah.
And there was like a thing of hamburger patties. And it was like the last thing of hamburger patties. And they were kind of like broken. Like someone had dropped them or whatever. And I was like, I don't even care, man. I'll mash them back together. We're having burgers tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a fucking celebration, man. I invited my folks over. I was like, I got meat.
Dude, straight up. Yeah, I remember that time, man. That was freaking nuts. Like, oh, my God. Yeah, and then it was funny because at that time I was working with producer Nick, and he was just like, he had just gotten sober for crazy drugs. Like, he was never a drinker. He was like more like, writing songs kind of producer. So it's like to write songs, I think he would like do his, his drugs and whatever. And man, like, that point was crazy. Like, we were just locked in the studio, and we were working with the bass player from Stitched Up Heart. Have you ever heard of that band? But they're kind of like signed to Century, so we started working with some Century Media artists, and that was one of them. And so he was doing his own like solo thing, and it was coming out really good. But I remember like the world is just falling apart while we were doing this session, man. And we are like, oh my God. And he like posted like a like one of those memes on Facebook about like, oh yeah, I've got new music coming. It was like Will Ferrell with like the world burning down. And he's like, I've got new music coming out while the world's like burning down in the background and shit.
Yeah, that was some of the scariest times, man. Who knows what, it was like, it's like being in a fucking apocalypse movie.
Yeah.
It was just wild. Wild. I remember I got COVID tested, and we had to wait in line for like 90 minutes in our car. And everyone's like, it's like the military's got Texas Station all blocked off, and they got all these, doctors or medical assistants or whatever, taking people's swabs, but they're like in full shields and aprons, and like the fucking military's got masks on, and I was just like, am I in a George A. Romero movie or something? Like, this is wild, man. I can't even believe this is reality right now. Like, this is happening on American soil. Just blew my mind, man. It was just so surreal.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Did you end up getting sick? Cause like I got sick too. I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was, for me, it was really bad because it was only like a week, right? And this was before the pandemic really started. This was 2019.
Okay.
And I'd just gone on tour, and the thing is, we were around tons of Asian people like getting off of buses, right? And I knew it. I was like, okay, we were around tons of Chinese people, tons of tourists. So we get back, and it's some about your body. Your body will not let you have the flu or anything on the road. I don't know what it is. It must be the adrenaline, right? You know, but for some reason, just your body, like, their natural like adrenaline system just goes in, and I had a runny nose the whole time on tour, and I felt like I had a cold, but no flu, right? And as soon as I get back, I'm saying like in about 2-day period, I start feeling like shit, and I'm just coming down with a crazy like pneumonia, right? And I couldn't even vape. I remember I was trying to vape and smoke pot, and it just wasn't working. And it was just like, I felt like an 80-year-old man. I'm just coughing up. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? You know? And I was bedridden for 1 day. My dog like freaked out, like came up, like, you know, and like got real close to me and everything. And after that, I was fine. But you know, that whole week leading up to that was really bad, man. Like it was hard for me to breathe. You know what I mean? Like I had a lot of it felt like there was a lot of shit in my lungs.
Yeah.
It was really like almost like pneumonia-ish flu, you know, and it was definitely the worst flu I've ever had. I remember telling my girls like, man, this is really bad. But the crazy thing is my parents were in town, and my girl didn't get sick, and she's a nurse as well, you know, so she's always around, you know, sick people all the time, and she didn't get sick at all. Everything was fine. My parents were fine. And, you know, I was like thinking after that, you guys got natural immunity for me. You guys, you know what I mean? And it's funny because my parents are like really big on the whole liberal side. They're all into the vaccine, and, you know, they won't even visit me without it. Like that's how it's, like you said.
Because you don't have the vaccine?
Yeah. So it's literally dividing families, like all that kind of stuff.
That's ridiculous, man.
So I haven't talked to them in months.
They have it, right?
Yeah.
So then what's the fucking problem, man?
I know.
You know?
Why do we have to get one to make theirs work? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't work that way. You know, like, that's so absurd. Not to mention, if you already had it, then you have a better immunity than they do.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And so after that, everything was fine. I'm like, yeah, I got natural immunity, you know? And everybody that was here, like my whole family, we're all good, you know? And my sister had to take it only because of her job, but she thinks the same way as me, you know? And her boyfriend's super cool. He's like, and my parents hate him only because he was Republican. Literally, that's it. Like, I remember they told me, like, we just don't like him. I'm like, well, what do you guys not like about him? He's a really cool guy, you know, because he had come over with her, and, like, you know, I met him, and super nice dude, and, like, you know, took us out on the strip, paid for everything, and I was like, yeah, I like this guy, you know. And like, why does that have anything to do with it? I was like, you guys won't, like, I guess he like came and like gave them a present, actually, you know, to be like super respectful and nice.
Yeah.
And it was something like my sister said that like they were like complaining about it, like he gave something to my dad. It was like my dad's like into trains, and he like gave something to him, and he was like complaining that wasn't something like he liked, you know. And it's just like, dude, what the hell, man?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, no, that's that side of the fence, though, man. You know, nothing's ever good enough, and everybody's evil unless you think exactly like me.
Yeah,
and that's just not fucking cool, man. That's not.
Yeah. I don't know that many. That's the only person I actually know, like family wise, which is sad. Is like my actual family that's that crazy about it. I don't really, you know, nobody else has been like that. No, you know what I mean? There hasn't been anybody else that I've worked with, like musicians wise or anything that's like, oh, you know, you need to get this to work with me, or, you know, any of that.
Yeah.
So
I had to get it for my job because I work with all these. I mean, I work for Amazon and Google. And Disney,
yeah. So they
it was like, they didn't care about the mandates or anything like that from Biden. That's just a company thing. They're like, and they want to see the cards too. Like some companies are just like, yeah, well, we just want to make sure you're sending us vaccinated people. And you go, yeah, no, we checked them all. They're vaccinated. And they're like, cool, thanks. And then but these bigger companies are like, no, we need photocopies of everybody's vaccine cards.
Wow.
And it's like, dude, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, like, that's super, like, unconstitutional.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that you can just, like, you just have access to my medical information like that so I can work.
I know, that's...
Yeah, like, that's not okay, man.
Yeah, not at all.
It's just another line that's been crossed. It's like, just like, you know, with... 9/11 and the creation of the NSA, and they just took all of our privacy away and record all of our phone calls and keep a log of everything you search on the internet and everything. And they were just like, well, we're on the other side of that line. No going back.
Yep.
And they just keep doing that shit to us, man.
I know.
Until it's like,
that Patriot Act wasn't too patriotic.
No, the least patriotic thing they've ever done. And and they just keep doing it to us, man. They just keep friggin' doing it to us. They're just like just crossing line after line after line until the Constitution is meaningless and we don't have any freedoms left at all, man. And it's bizarre to me that people are on board with it. I fought as long as I could to not get the vaccine, but I was like, I'm gonna lose my job now.
I know that's right now. My girl, she's got a mandate on her company, and it's crazy because right now she's doing the religious exemption, trying that.
They're not accepting that from anybody either.
That's what I heard. I heard they're trying to shut it down.
Yeah. Well, and then I guess the Biden administration also said, we don't care. They were like, you can't really do anything about these people that ask for religious exemption until their court cases are up.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, no, we said Friday. And it's like, what? No, they all filed, documentation, and there hasn't been a ruling yet, and you can't just do that. And they go, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah,
we said Friday. It's Friday.
It's unreal.
They can all fucking die.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't care if they starve to death. You do what we say. That's it. Bottom line.
Unreal, man.
Yeah.
The thing is, she works from home though. That's why I'm hoping they grant it because I mean, she works from home. She's a remote worker. Literally, like she's not around people anyway. So what excuse? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like what excuse? And they don't have one.
No, they don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care. It's not about the vaccine, man.
Yeah, it's not.
It's clearly not. It's about we're in control, and you'll do what I fucking tell you to do.
Yeah.
Or else.
Yeah.
That's it. Bottom line. You do what I say.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about the Constitution. They don't give a shit about your freedoms or your rights or your body or any of that,
No.
It's just like we're in control.
Exactly. Unless
you better get used to it.
Yep. Unless it's abortion, then they're like, oh no. Then it becomes like a complete opposite. Then yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's my body, my choice. Just not when it comes to any other aspect of my body, my choice.
Right. I know.
It's fucking so hypocritical.
Can you imagine whenever it's like a chip they're like wanting us to implant or something like that? Like, no, you guys have to. You're mandated. Put that. Make sure you have surgery to get that chip put in your fucking head.
Well, yeah. That's the next line. That's the thing, man, And it's like they shot us all up with this stuff. They're gonna start demanding we get a booster every 6 months or some bullshit like that.
Dude.
And then it's like, well, now that you're used to this level of disrespect to your body and control, now we want you to do the next thing, which whatever, the microchip or whatever they're gonna fucking do,
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a next step, and there'll be another step after that, and they'll just keep taking freedoms and keep taking liberties with us and keep forcing us to do whatever they want us to do.
Yeah.
Till we're just completely submissive.
I know, right?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is the worst thing ever. I mean, dude, if we go down this hole, man, there's no coming back, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I feel like we're still at the point of return, even though a lot of people think that we're not right now. But I think like it could be worse. I think it definitely can be worse, and people need to stop complying with all this stuff. As far as like. Hey, with the mask mandate, and that's the thing that's one thing I love about Henderson in the sense is like they're not as strict on the mask mandate. You go in a gas station, they're not going to be like, "Where's your mask?" For the most part. But it's weird. As soon as I get into like the Summerlin area, like at and like around like where. Like I have another dispensary I go to, like that's off of Warm Springs and like Vegas Boulevard, around that area, that outlet mall. As soon as I get around that area, it's like any gas station you go to, like before you can even get a word out, it's like where's mask.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what the hell? And then I saw that there's in some states they were actually getting rid of the mask mandate on Halloween because it's probably because it's dangerous, right? Because all the robberies and shit, of people. Wearing Halloween masks.
Well, I mean, like, and I travel a lot for work, and I travel a lot to shoot videos and everything like that. And I've been to a lot of different states this year, and a lot of places, like the entire state, just stopped. They just stopped.
Wow.
And now I'm of the opinion that I'm just going to go around. And you can tell me to put a mask on. I have one in my pocket. I'll put it on.
Yeah.
But it's like I think more and more people need to just start doing that until it's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Wear it if you want. Otherwise, it's like stop hassling everybody. And it's just bullshit at this point, man. It's completely ridiculous. And I know most people are just fed up with it. I know I'm fed up with it, man.
Yeah.
And it's not helping anything. And most of the places I've gone, man, they just don't have it. They don't have the mask mandates at all, man. You get past New Mexico and anywhere in the middle of the country, man, you know, like fucking we hit Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri.
Yeah.
No mask mandates. None whatsoever. I actually just got back from California. I was in Southern California. And it's just like, no one gave a shit.
Oh,
I didn't wear a mask the whole time.
Wow, like Riverside area and all that?
Like San Diego.
Oh, okay. Yeah, San Diego.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Brick by Brick? That place?
Nuh-uh.
Super cool place. That's a venue in San Diego. It's funny because it was like, I think Avatar played there and all this. And that was one of the venues we played with Dallas at that cover group,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I was in this Korn tribute band. I remember, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of this venue. It looks really nice." And that particular night, literally the AC was out.
Oof.
And they had no fan on the stage. It was just for the crowd. They had a big fan, but it was pointed towards the crowd. I remember that. Dallas was literally like wasted, and this place was like, I want to say it felt like it was like 200 degrees in there. I remember he was just like wasted, drinking fucking whiskey, like covered in sweat, and I'm like, what is going on right now, dude? We're in a different world in San Diego. But yeah, like, and we didn't even get to go to the zoo or any of the good stuff in San Diego. Did you guys get to
really?
check out the zoo?
No, I did some other stuff this
SeaWorld.
time. I've been to the zoo. Yeah, it's cool. I kind of am bummed out about the zoos now. Like, just, I don't really like to go to them anymore. They used to be cool for me, and now it's just like a depressing thing.
Yeah,
where seeing all the animals locked up. Yeah. Just a change in consciousness. Just my own personal opinion about it, Not to say people shouldn't go to the zoos or whatever, or like keep endangered animals and try to breed them and help them out and everything like that. But I did what's it called? I walked on this big aircraft carrier, the Midway.
Oh,
This is
okay.
Midway. It was like built during World War II and was in operation till the Gulf War, 1992. Wow. And that was wild, man. Like it
was called Midway?
Yeah, it's like the USS Midway. It's
Wow.
it's on the pier in San Diego downtown.
I knew the Battle of Midway. Is that like, I guess that was one of the is that why they called? No, that's not why they called it that, right?
I don't know.
I'm not too big of a history buff of World War II. It's funny, I have a buddy that's a bass player that really is like incredible. Like you could ask him any question in World War II and he'd be
really?
like, yeah, I know exactly what that is.
No, it was a wild ship, man. And like I could barely fit in the damn thing. Like I was hunched over trying to sneak down through the lower decks.
Oh damn! Was it an aircraft carrier or destroyer?
It was a 1,000-foot long aircraft carrier, man.
Wow,
it was really cool. And you can tour the whole thing by yourself, and then they have like a guided tour up to the bridge, so you see the whole control room and everything like that.
Damn.
No, it's really fun, man. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it, man.
Yeah.
And they have a bunch of old vets on there that were all like, they worked on aircraft carriers and they're pilots and different things like that. So they're explaining everything to you, which is really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that, and then I did what's it called? I went to this shell, like it's an amphitheater outside.
Yeah.
And there's a whole walkway around the outside of the amphitheater, so you can pay for tickets, or you can just hang out and watch the show for free. And they had like a big orchestra, like San Diego Orchestra, performing all these different symphonies.
Yeah.
And so I just walked from my hotel right over there and chilled and watched the whole 2 hours just sitting on a bench right outside of the venue for free.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Whole
Dude.
freaking, whole orchestra playing, man, and it's just beautiful, big old giant like L Acoustics K2 line array.
Yeah.
And just this gorgeous amphitheater, man. And yeah, it was. I just couldn't believe it was free. Like,
wow,
that kind of culture in the city is just. It's amazing that they do that kind of stuff.
That's killer, man. Look, we didn't get much time to kind of explore down there, and I wanted to. I remember, but I remember like seeing that big horseshoe of like like the freeway.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it goes like right by the ocean and all that, and you could see it. Like that was really cool. And I've been to Del Mar before with the fair.
Oh, nice.
The Del Mar Fair. Like Joan Jett was playing. This was years ago. I remember we had a blast, man. That was really fun.
Dude, yeah, San Diego's gorgeous, man. I really like that city. They got a good thing going. It's just so friggin' expensive. I lived there for 2 years when I was like 19 to 21. I lived down in San Diego and like the Oceanside area and stuff like that. And I loved it, but it was like 4 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, like we couldn't afford shit. And I used to like work in warehouse and drive a forklift and stuff, and like just barely could afford to survive. But I mean, it was gorgeous. You can just go to the beach. It's free. You go to Balboa Park. It's free. You know, like you can do all this. There's all this beautiful stuff you can do in San Diego that doesn't cost anything when you live there. So that was always a plus.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'd like to live there again, man, but
that's Hollywood prices. Yeah.
Yeah, the prices, you know. And it's California, so it's like I don't like the way they run things over there either. You know, they wild ass like Democrats going nuts, just passing whatever bills they can think of. You know, and it's like, dude, stop taxing me.
Yeah, we'll have a mask on the car too.
Yeah.
And you know, with the emissions, you never know. You know, you'll start getting fined for carbon credits and stuff. Did you ever hear about that?
I'm sure they're going to be doing that soon.
The whole the climate change green thing that they're doing, that Green New Deal. It's awful.
Yeah, it is, man. And I don't know, it's the fucking global warming thing, man. You know, it's like they think they can just force that onto the corporations' shoulders, but realistically, and I mean from my perspective, it's like it's everyone's individual choices that really will make a difference, man. You know, like all of us just think, oh, we'll just force those people to fix the problem, and it's like, well, no, we're the fucking problem, man. You know, like everybody's drinking plastic bottles and driving gas-powered cars and eating all this meat, and like they were just supporting all these things with our wallets, you know, and our decisions, man, you know, and it's like your lifestyle is incentivizing these corporations to act this way. Yeah. You know, if everybody's lifestyles and monetary decisions were put in such a manner that there was no incentive to tear down all this rainforest to raise all these cows, or, you know, continuously everyone's driving all these gas-powered vehicles, so they're constantly fucking digging up fossil fuels and burning fossil fuels, and, you know, producing all this excess plastic that's getting dumped into the oceans because we're all just constantly grabbing whatever, it's convenient, and everything's wrapped in 6 layers of plastic. And you know, it's like all these choices that we make as individuals, like if everybody started making these choices for themselves to do better, you know, to really take care of the planet from a personal perspective, like that would really solve the problem in and of itself. Because like it's like why they would be incentivized to do whatever it is that's society is demanding. That's all they're doing. Yeah. They don't care. They're like, nobody in those industries is just like, I love slaughtering cows. And it's like, no, there's money to be made here. You know, there's this point where I can make excess profits, and there's a demand for it, so I'm going to fill that demand. It doesn't matter what the demand is, you know, corporations are just going to meet it and make it happen. Yeah. And it's like a lot of the like the automobile industry, right? Like they're all saying by 2030 all of our cars will be electric vehicles, and because there's a demand for it, right? And also the government's trying to incentivize them and like force them to make them electric vehicles, but like people want electric vehicles. Yeah. I want an electric vehicle.
Yeah, me too. That's the next thing I want is a Tesla.
Yeah.
My buddy has one and they're incredible, you know? And that's the thing, like we are carbon creatures, you know what I mean? It's like we're made out of carbon. Yeah. To say like that's the whole thing about the whole global warming thing, and like we need to cut carbon emissions. Like we're literally carbon beings. We're made out of freaking carbon, and like you said, literally like with plastic, we could get rid of plastic and use this stuff that's like out of mushrooms. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
yeah, like
it's biodegradable.
Yeah. Dude, they're using that for packing material, but why not use that for glasses, for everything else? That would solve a lot of the problems right there. And then one of the biggest problems in pollution is freaking masks. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean?
It's gross to see that stuff everywhere.
I see them all over the ground now, and it's just like, yeah, this is something that's caused by, you know, by freaking people in charge. Right? Yeah. Right there.
Yeah, and it's not easy to do, man. I mean, like I do my aluminum bottle. I don't touch the plastic bottles, man. I'll drink tap water before I'll crack a plastic one. Yeah. You know, I have some for my guests, you know what I mean? People are used to what they're used to. I don't want to force things on people. But, yeah, and like I stopped eating meat, you know, and I'm working on getting an electric car. I don't have one yet. It's fucking shit's expensive, man. You know, and it's like, but it's like, you know, making those changes in everyone's daily life, man, it really can make a huge difference on the planet. Because it's like, even if we force all these people to start paying, you know, taxes and all these different fees for putting out carbon emissions, ultimately the marketplace still exists for those carbon emissions to be created.
Yeah.
And that's really the problem, is that people are still demanding to eat 3 cheeseburgers a day. And they better only be $1 or $2, you know? And it's like, dude, you know, clearly that's the problem, not, you know, the corporations meeting the demand created by society.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, for me, it comes down to personal choices, man. But everyone's not going to make those personal choices. It's just, you know, we're not that civilized as a society, I don't believe.
Yeah, but like you were saying, taking it into small steps, you know what I mean? Like doing that, like that, you know, like with that mushroom technology, stuff like that, you know, getting rid of the pollution like we're doing, like stuff that we can actually stop, you know, for sure. But like it's crazy, like the stuff that they want to do. They want to shut down all this other stuff and, you know, put a global carbon tax. That's going to be really bad. Like, yeah, that's going to definitely backfire. It's not going to be good, you know, for anybody.
Yeah.
Except for the people, whoever's behind the money, you know what I mean? Because you know that money ain't going to to climate change at all. It's going to be going in these people's pockets.
Like everything does. Like all taxes end up doing, man. Yeah. You know, it's always the politicians raise a bunch of taxes and then they take that tax money and give it to one of their constituents and then they donate $10 million to their next campaign. Yep. And it's just like, oh, is that how you launder your money that you steal from the taxpayer? Yeah. Nice, man. Great. You know, $3.5 trillion. I wonder how much of that's actually going to be used to fucking help people and how much of that's going to make people like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden richer.
Yeah. Or make them unstoppable. I feel like that's going to be that's like their COVID money right there. You know?
Yeah, right?
For their COVID Gestapo. Hey, we're running out of money. We got to refinance because I mean, that's the thing. How are they going to even, that's what people are saying. How are they going to check with all these mandates and how are they going to check the cards? Well, that's going to cost them to hire a private security, you know, some kind of private sector. Who knows what it's going to be? It could be FEMA employees. We don't know, you know, what their plan is. But I know that I heard that some of the nurses that were getting fired were like getting replaced with like FEMA employees that didn't even have to get it. Like apparently,
they didn't even have to get the shot.
They actually had a choice.
The hypocrisy, man.
I know.
It's just wild.
So, you know, I mean, if my girl like has to, or a job, obviously she will, you know, but that's the thing, like, I don't know, which one did you take? Did you take just the one and done thing?
I did the Pfizer one because the Johnson & Johnson, they had all those blood clot problems that I didn't want to risk dealing with. But then the Pfizer one had all the heart problem stuff. And then my heart did start aching after I took it, man. You know, I had like a week of like chest pain and my sinuses were a mess and I had headaches. And like it really, because I had COVID. So... Yeah. When you have COVID and then you get the vaccine, it kind of messes you up a little bit. You know, there's a lot more side effects, and I experienced a lot of them, man, and it sucked. I didn't like it very much.
That's crazy. With COVID, did you have like a pneumonia?
No, it was honestly, it wasn't that bad for me, man. Like, I didn't even miss a workout the first week I had COVID.
Wow.
I was just like, I got a little something or whatever. You know, I'm not feeling so hot, but no big deal. And then we had just gone to visit family, and so that's where we got it. Like the whole family got it, and then we flew back.
Oh, God.
I'm sure we fucking gave it to a bunch of people. We didn't know we were even sick when we flew back. And you know, when we got back into town, you know, little sniffles or whatever, and then they called and they were like, everybody's got freaking COVID. You got to go get tested and make sure you got, you know.
Yeah.
So we went and, like I said, it was like the military over at Texas Station thing, and we got tested. We both had it, and so we quarantined. We had to quarantine through Thanksgiving, which pissed off my family, you know, because my family's all conservative, man. So they're on the other side of the coin, right? And they're just like, oh, you know, who gives a shit? It's all fake, anyways.
Yeah,
so it's not fake, man. You know. You know, they might be using it to do to really overstep their bounds, you know, and bring them in these levels of control that are a little more unnecessary than I think that should be done. But you know, there's a virus out there killing people. I lost a couple friends, man, and like, you know, I mean, it's real. I got it. You know, Angela got it. Her whole family got it, and it was brutal. I mean, it wasn't brutal for me. Her family had a little bit of a harder time on it, but like, yeah, I was a little sick. It wasn't too bad. I've been way sicker.
That's crazy. Well, yeah, that's nuts, man. Like, it's funny because I know somebody that just passed away actually, but it wasn't from COVID. We don't even know what it was from. Honestly, he had a heart attack. Like, but this guy was a really big engineer in the 80s and 90s, and he did, the Jay Adore Smashing Pumpkins album.
Okay, yeah.
He did produced all that. He engineered it, and he also did the Whitesnake, the one with Steve Vai.
Oh,
what was
cool.
that? What was that's not Slip of the Tongue, right? What's the name of that album with Judgment Day and all that on it?
Whitesnake with Steve Vai. Let me see.
It's got Judgment Day, I know, in the album. But he I guess he told me the story about this too. He was working in that studio in Hollywood, and the engineer wouldn't shut the fuck up to David Coverdale, and so David
slip of the tongue.
Yeah, that's it, slip of the tongue. So David Coverdale was like, okay, he asked him, he's like, hey, can you shut the fuck up and press the record button on this tape machine? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, and they fired the guy that was their engineer and everything, and got my friend Bjorn to do it, and so literally that was his first credit was on Whitesnake.
Nice.
And he said all I did was literally press the record button. That was it. They just wanted somebody that would shut the fuck up. Yeah. And this guy is super cool. His name was Bjorn Thorsgood. Thor's Rudd. That's his last name, actually. I always would screw that up. But the guy is super, super talented producer, man. He just passed away a week ago.
Oh,
and
that sucks, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing, we don't really know if it was, I think he did just have his second jab. I don't want to say that for sure. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
yeah, and it's crazy. I remember before, but he had already kind of had heart problems, and he was asking me about something medical that I was telling my girlfriend, and he was like, hey, swollen feet or something, and I was like, she's like, yeah, that's actually a heart issue. It's your body telling you, so she knows, all my friends would always ask that anytime they have medical problems, they'll ask me, even Dallas, whenever Al was getting sick, because Al was getting COVID, and Dallas was like, hey, is my old man's not feeling good, and, so he talked to her about it, and she's like, yeah, you need to go to the hospital now, because he hadn't been out of bed in a week. It was really bad for Dallas's dad.
It'll get you real fast like that, too, and then it's too late.
Yeah, that's the thing. There really is a real flu. I mean, I had it myself, and I guess it's different for a lot of people. For me, it was straight up pneumonia almost at that point. Maybe it was because I smoke a lot of weed, and I don't smoke cigarettes, but I can imagine if you were a cigarette smoker, that would probably be even worse, But yeah, man, she's been helping out anybody that needs to know about that kind of stuff. She's like, yeah, but at the same time, she knows what she saw. In the hospitals, there was nobody in there in 2020. It was unreal. And now there's there are a lot of people in there. You know what I mean? For whatever, because she says most of the time the hospitals are packed anyway. You know what I mean? People have accidents all the time. It's crazy.
Well, they keep them at mostly capacity. I mean, this is the business model of hospitals. It's not because of anything going on specifically. Hospitals keep that stuff packed.
Exactly. Yeah. And she said there's the main thing is gunshots. She's like, there's floors and floors of gunshots. And it's shit they don't even talk about. And you're like, wow, whenever you see the reality of what's in the hospital, you're like, okay, all these people are getting shot by other people right here. There's floors of that. And then the COVID patients might be, they don't really know what's COVID, what's flu. That's the one thing. Because they don't really know, they don't really even know how to test for this. That's the crazy thing. The PCR test is outrageous almost at the fact that that's what they're using for a test. Even the guy that made that test, did you ever see that interview? The guy that made the PCR test, he said that it's not a reliable thing, and they shouldn't be using it. Yeah, I
think what was it? Elon Musk did that. He bought 4 tests, and he goes, "I got 2 positives and 2 negatives. I'm done with this bullshit."
Yeah.
This isn't real. This test isn't working, and it's you can just say whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's wild. I think that's one of the problems with this experience that we just had as a civilization, is that the effects of the virus are so variable, that in anybody's own personal life, there's no real telling, It's not like it was with something like the Spanish flu, where there's literally bodies all over the streets and everybody who gets it's fucking dying. It's really brutal. It was just it's a little worse than the flu, and some people get it and it's going to kill you and it's going to destroy your lungs, but a lot of people get it and it's nothing, and it's just well, if it's not really that big of a deal, why are the restrictions so heavy? Why are you ruining everybody's lives? You know, and it's like the solution is turning out to be way worse than the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, so were they just taking advantage of this situation to enforce these new regulations and take away freedoms and, you know, like just bring about this new era of existence that we're living in now? You know, or was it like legitimately, oh, there's a virus and we really care about people? And from my experience in life, these motherfuckers at the top do not care about us, you know, and that's definitely not their motivation. You know,
I know.
Oh, we got to help people. It's like, when have you ever wanted to help anybody besides yourself and how much power you have? Right? I think that's your whole thing, that you're a politician. You only care about power. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a politician.
Exactly. So, yeah. Saying health and safety is scary coming from these guys. It's like, do you guys really? You know, when has the government ever in the history of ever like cared about the health and safety? Never.
No. No, they just want people to obey, and they want you to keep pumping out kids so they can increase their military strength.
Yeah.
You know, and they just keep destroying education. They don't want people to be educated. They don't want people to know anything. And now they're like masking the truth. They're fucking with information. You know, you can't really know anything anymore because there's just no way to collect true information. Everything's biased, and there's literally equal amounts of sources that you can gather that say the exact opposite of each other on almost any topic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's wild, man. It's a wild place to live. And it's like, how do you actually like do critical thinking nowadays? You know, it's just like all you can do is develop an opinion, and you know, you walk around throwing that in people's faces like, you know what the fuck you're talking about. And it's like, no, you know, he knows anything, man. I certainly don't know anything. That's the only thing I do know is I know nothing, man.
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like the same way. You know what I mean? I really do. Because, yeah, like you're saying, like anything you think of, there, like no matter what topic you even think of, you could literally look it up and find both the sides for both. You're like it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, we do live in that age of misinformation, but in the fact, like, in their eyes, what they do is they're just censoring one side. They're censoring anything that goes against it. And, like, whenever we get to that point where we're censoring one side of, you know, of something, that's whenever we've crossed the line is, you know, for everything, for freedom of speech, you know, as a species, I think. It's just, it's awful. You know?
No, it shouldn't be that way, man. There should be this back and forth in society, man. You know, even for heinous shit like Nazis, they're like, you're not allowed to say anything that has to do with, you know, fascism or Nazis or anything like that. And it's like, well, now you're just empowering these people, you know, and now they're gonna create their own little circles and just regurgitate this stuff to themselves with no checks and balances. It's like when you bring that kind of stuff to a conversation, and everyone in the conversation goes, "What the fuck did you just say, man? That's out of line," you know?
Yeah.
You know, like, you're an idiot kind of thing, you know? Like, I can't believe you would say something like that, but it's like those conversations aren't allowed to exist anymore. And so these people are just left in their own echo chambers to think that they're as right as, you know, as they can possibly be, and they just encourage each other's insanity. Yeah. And there's no debate. There's just like, you know, there's just, and that only encourages those kinds of people, man. It's like the Proud Boys, right? Yeah. It's like that was created by all this oppression on that point of view and that perspective. Like, you can't just force all these people into a corner and say you're wrong and you're evil. And it's like they don't view themselves as evil or wrong. And now you're just empowering their argument, man.
And then also, like, a lot of the Proud Boys a lot of them were black too.
Yeah.
And then the media was trying to act like there was some right wing alt group, and it's like, no, like a lot of the members are black of that are in charge of the Proud Boys. It's, you know, known thing. Like, what the hell? You guys are trying to spin this, and they were like, no, we're not they're not even in that like realm of race. Like, they're not a racist organization in the slightest. Yeah. And it's like, all the spin around and twisting of like anybody that doesn't go against, you know, go with the narrative. It's like, oh, we got to, you know, make them the demon. It's like, what the hell, man? Yeah. I never thought we'd see this. I never thought in my whole life I'd ever see like the world like this, but it is scary, you know?
Yeah. It's terrifying, man. It's like freedom of speech is just completely being crippled, man. Yeah. And, yeah, I hope it starts to change. You see, Trump's got a new social media platform that he's pumping out called Truth. His stocks are like soaring through the market, man, and he's gonna like allow whatever. It's gonna be fucking chaos. It's gonna be like 4chan or 8chan where it just gets out of control way too fast. God. You know what I mean? Because if you just let anybody do whatever, but I mean, you know.
I think we need it actually right now. Well, yeah, we actually need something like that. Now that's the thing we do, you know, and I think these other social medias, they've kind of run their course. It's like you can't post anything without a freaking that stupid, you know, vaccine thing or whatever COVID-19 misinformation comes up on every post. No matter if you post anything, like it's like it could be a post that doesn't have anything to do with it. If you have the letter of something that's in their AI, you know what I mean? There it goes.
Yeah. You know? Especially during the election in 2020. Anything that was anything to do with Trump, it was just labeled as misinformation. Or if you were saying anything derogatory about Biden or Hunter Biden, it was just like, no, none of this is real. Yeah. These are all lies. Biden's the best. Trump's the devil. You should already know this, you know? And it's just like, we're going to ban anything you say good about Trump. We're going to ban anything bad you say about Biden because this is what we want as a corporate entity, you know, that owns like the town square of conversation. And it's just ridiculous, you know? It's like the phone company shutting down everyone's phone calls the second you say anything about a candidate they don't like in politics. It's like the phone hangs up.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? You know, that's not okay.
No, not in the slightest. Like I knew somebody that actually like this is a black dude I knew, and he literally posted on like something like against Biden or something right whenever the election was going down, and he said that right after he posted, he got a message from some like weird girl that was like asking him why he posted that.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the hell? Like, just craziness. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of world do we live in, man? There's like, you know, not only do they have these fact-checking things, but they have like their own. And the funny thing is, did you see how the like one of the lead fact checkers, he was like on the Pfizer board or something like that?
Oh, nice.
And then, like I saw how like some of these people that are in charge of the fact checking are literally like, you know what I mean? They're basically doing their own dirty work. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen there's a thing on YouTube, man, where it's all the heads, like it's Zuckerberg and, you know, the heads of Google and Twitter and Amazon, like all these CEOs are sitting in a courtroom with the political, who was it? Like, I can't remember, but it's the American government. It was, you know, they were sitting there telling them exactly how they're going to block information on their sites and how they're going to abide by these government mandates to control the information on all these platforms.
Yeah.
And how they're going to control the narrative of information in their favor. And they're all just sitting there complying like, yeah, absolutely. Whatever you say, you know, we'll do whatever you want. And it's all just manipulation. Yeah. And even like, what's her fucking face? Jen Psaki. She's just like, yeah, of course we're doing that. Of course we're doing it. They've been denying it. And then it was like right before a bunch of like receipts came out to prove that it was like obviously happening. They're just like, yeah, of course we're doing that.
Yeah.
We're the government. That's what we do. And it's just like, no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be controlling the flow of information to the public like that, man. That's fucked.
Unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think we're almost at 2 hours, man.
I know. I was like
chatting it up, bro. That goes fast.
Dude, I love this. Today has been a blast, man.
Yeah, it's been awesome catching up with you, man. And we got to do this again. We got to hang out some more, man, you know. And you know what I have pulled up we can close the thing out with? I have the music video from Omega Point.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, the Psycho video.
That's so I have your permission to play it on my channel. There you go, YouTube. He said I could play it. And every time I do this, they send me a letter saying, hey, man, that's not your video. And I go, yeah, it's the guy on my podcast video, buddy. And they're like, okay, we'll take the flag off then.
Awesome.
And so we'll rock this thing out and play the new Omega Point Psycho video. I just want to say thank you to my guest Dylan Dyce for being on the podcast. Amazing guitar player. Check him out on social media. Check him out with the Omega Point. You guys playing anywhere soon?
Once we get a drummer.
Once you get a drummer, that's right. Your drummer's gone.
We will.
If you're interested in playing drums for the Omega Point, they're looking for someone right now. So, definitely you can contact me. You can contact Dylan. and we can get you guys lined up with maybe an audition or something like that.
Awesome.
Man. That's awesome.
Killer. Really killer.
Yeah, this has been To the Fullest. Make sure you subscribe, give us a like, ring the bell, and follow me on social media. Yeah. Peace, man. Let's click play on this bad boy and get out of here, buddy.
Awesome.
Wait, oh, there it goes.
There we go. Awesome. Yes. So,
myself a little deeper into the white collar grave. I don't know how this started, but I know where this ends. Inside a full wall, fluorescent like you bug a coffin. I work hard but still I'm never getting ahead. And all the shit that they say, it's getting into my head. Now I'm hanging by the weight of just paying my dues. This is my trade jacket, the tie is the news. I may look my life, but don't be blinded by you. When look in these eyes, you'll get your glimpse on the truth. See, I'm an all-American psycho. This is my darkest dream, to keep playing along until the day that I die, chasing the breadcrumb trail to the pie in the sky. So what's the problem here, man? You got nothing to fear. How could you think all these thoughts and cry all these tears? This is the land of the free, boy, the home of the brave. So man the fuck up and just learn to be. Just keep your head down and keep marching along. Keep tapping your feet to the working man's song. But sometimes the worker gets fed up and lets loose. Yeah, some prime time violence on the 5 o'clock news. American psychos, and this is our darkest dream. We meet the people who slay us, like Fabian Aurelia, and learn this fucking tragedy the way that they're solving it. Because we're all American psychos, and what are you gonna do for all the love that you preach versus the hate you consume? Don't try to kill yourself now, you are a psychopath down. For all the love that you preach versus the hate you consume, don't try to kid yourselves now, you all are psychopaths too.
Thanks for watching To the Fullest with Jason Froberg. You can check out more podcasts here and subscribe by clicking right here. We air new podcasts every Monday morning on Space Brain Station and all of your favorite podcast apps.